It is on record that Nigeria, despite being a major crude oil producer, still imports almost all her refined petroleum products like premium motor spirit, PMS, otherwise known as petrol, automated motor oil, AGO, and diesel, domestic kerosene, and even aviation kerosene, and many others. Now, the four government-owned refineries are underperforming. That's no news. Now, however, there is a renewed effort from the private sector to invest in the refining process of Nigeria's crude oil and domestic gas. Now, while some are taking it big, others are doing it on a small scale, known as Modular Refinery. Now, the question here is, what is a modular refinery? What is its scale? What is the difference between a modular refinery and the conventional refinery? All this you get to know after our usual DPR tidbits. I'm Sulaiman. Welcome. The concerted efforts of the present administration to resuscitating Nigeria's ailing refineries will soon yield positive results, with great benefits for both the nation's oil and gas industry and the average Nigerian. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva, gave this assurance in an interview at the end of the 2021 first quarterly meeting he had with heads of agencies of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources in Lagos State.
The Federal Executive Council approved the comprehensive rehabilitation of Port Harcourt refineries, and that is going to start very forthwith. It was approved for a sum of $1.5 billion. And we are going to also start the rehabilitation of Warri and Kaduna refineries shortly.
DPR's Director and Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Saraki Awalu, explained his agency's efforts to increasing Nigeria's oil reserves from 37 to 40 billion barrels.
We look at reserves, that requires a secondary and tertiary recovery, and that is why the National Improved Oil Recovery Center is established, so that you look at what you need to do to really stimulate and produce the needed volume.
The quarterly ministerial meeting is a platform of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, established to enable the agencies brief the minister on their activities and in turn enable the ministry to assess their performances. Despite the daunting challenges posed by COVID-19 last year, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, has launched itself into the year 2021, significantly with a groundbreaking ceremony of its new corporate headquarters building located at number 32 Cadastral Zone, the Central Business District of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. At the occasion, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva, described the project as a milestone in repositioning Nigeria's oil and gas industry for effective service delivery.
This edifice, the barrel, when completed, will provide a conducive environment to support oil and gas business across the value chain for operators, service providers, investors, relevant government agencies, international collaborators, and other stakeholders.
The Director and Chief Executive Officer, Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, Engineer Saraki Awalu, noted that the department needed to be where government operates from.
As one of the oldest institutions in the country, we need to really be where the country is being managed from. Be rest assured that this building will support our commitment and the government commitments in making DPR a business enabler and creating opportunities for the industry. And we need to do that to ensure that the industries thrive using our robust regulatory framework and service instruments.
Dr. Las Richter, the Managing Director, Julius Berger, Nigeria, the main contractor handling the project, promised a timely completion of the structure tagged The Barrel, within the scheduled period of 24 months to the satisfaction of his client. Now, the event, which was attended by important dignitaries, including government officials, oil and gas personalities, and other stakeholders, also projected Nigeria's rich cultural endowments and was COVID-19 compliant. The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, has warned marketers against hoarding of petroleum products in their outlets. Director and Chief Executive Officer, DPR, Engineer Sarki Awalo, warned following the sudden emergence of queues in retail outlets in some states. He stated that from available records, the country has enough products to last many months, and there is no need for hoarding of products by any marketer. The director warned that the department will not hesitate to apply appropriate sanctions on any outlet found hoarding products. Engineer Awalo further said the department has set up special task force to intensify surveillance and monitoring of retail outlets and depots across the country to check this anomaly and advise the public against panic buying.
Over the years, the Department of Petroleum Resources (DPR) has been carrying out its mandate of supervision and regulation of the Nigerian oil and gas industry, the cornerstone of our country's economy. It has built an enviable platform with highly trained manpower to carry out these responsibilities that cut across the value chain of the upstream, midstream, and downstream of the industry. Today, DPR and its leadership is still bringing up new and excellent innovations to see to the optimum performance of the industry, bringing down the cost of production, increasing revenue to government and the population. Our service instruments of licenses, permits and approvals enable business and create opportunities for investors in the Nigerian oil and gas industry. Yes, DPR is here for you. For more information on DPR, please visit our website www.dpr.gov.ng, Twitter at DPR Hotline and Instagram at DPR Hotline. Telephones +234 1279 0000 and 1903 7150.
For some time now, Nigeria's 4 refineries, with a total throughput of about 445,000 barrels per stream day, have not been performing at their optimum. In order to make up for the shortfall, petroleum products have to be, sadly so, imported. Now, it is on record that Nigeria consumes a huge quantity of petroleum products, and to bridge this shortfall, the Department of Petroleum Resources has issued several licenses to investors to develop their own small-scale refineries known as Modular Refineries. Now, this good news will interest you. This background report will try as much as possible to explain what a modular refinery is all about, the number of such refineries proposed in the country, and some of their limitations.
It is one thing exploring and producing crude oil and natural gas. However, it is another thing to turn the crude oil to products for use by the population and industries. To this end, the crude oil or natural gas must be refined, and for the refining process to take place, a complex technical tubing system known as the refinery is needed. There are several types of refineries, and they come in different shapes and sizes. There are petroleum oil refinery, which converts crude oil into high-octane motor spirit, like petrol or premium motor spirit, automated motor oil AGO or diesel, domestic kerosene, aviation kerosene, and liquefied petroleum gas LPG. Others include heating oil, hexane gas, lubricating oil, bitumen, and petroleum coke. Edible oil refinery converts cooking oil into products that are uniform in taste, smell, and appearance. There is natural gas processing plant, which purifies and converts raw natural gas into domestic, commercial, and industrial fuel gas. It also converts natural gas liquids to ethane, propane, and butane. Sugar refinery is another important type of refinery. It converts sugarcane and sugar beets into crystallized sugar and sugar syrups. Salt refinery cleans common salt produced by the solar evaporation of seawater. This is followed by washing and recrystallization of the salt. However, our concentration here is on petroleum refinery, which is defined as an industrial process plant where crude oil is transformed and refined into useful products such as premium motor spirit or petrol, naphtha, diesel fuel, asphalt base, heating oil, kerosene, liquefied petroleum gas, jet fuel, and fuel oils. Petrochemical feedstocks like ethylene and propylene can also be produced directly by cracking crude oil. According to the Oil and Gas Journal of 2018, a total of 636 refineries operated across the world with a total capacity of 87.75 million barrels per stream day. Some of these crude oil refineries are usually large, sprawling industrial complexes with extensive piping running through and carrying streams of fluids between large chemical processing units such as distillation columns. In many ways, crude oil refineries use high technology and can be thought of as types of chemical plants. Jamnagar refinery in Gujarat in India is said to be the largest oil refinery in the world with a processing capacity of 1.24 million barrels, while Dangote refinery with a throughput of 650,000 barrels per stream day on commissioning will be the world's largest single clamp refinery in the world. Some modern petroleum refineries process as much as 800,000 to 900,000 barrels of crude oil per day. Hence, crude oil refinery is considered an essential part of the downstream side of the petroleum industry. However, a modular refinery is defined as a prefabricated crude oil processing plant that has been constructed on skid-mounted surfaces, with each structure containing a portion of the entire refining process plant connected together by interstitial piping to form an easily manageable process. In short, a modular refinery is a simplified refinery requiring significantly less capital investment than traditional full-scale refinery facilities. The initial process or crude distillation unit (CDU) allows for simple distillation of crude oil into low-octane naphtha, diesel, kerosene, and residual fuel oil. Many analysts believe and have suggested that this simple small-scale refinery is good for the country. In Nigeria, there are 4 refineries, though not new. They are designed to refine about 428,000 barrels of crude oil per stream day, and even if they are operating at optimal capacity, their production output will not be sufficient for the country. According to Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, citing Petroleum Products Pricing Agency PPPRA 2020 statistics, Nigeria consumed 20.8 billion liters of petrol in 2019, which comes to about 57.2 million liters of PMS every day. This is outside AGO and DPK. In order to make up for this shortfall, licenses were issued to investors to set up the modular type of refinery. They are not big, but designed to refine between 1,000 to 20,000 barrels of crude per stream day. Today, there are about 7 of such refineries working now, while about 20 of such licenses have been issued by the Department of Petroleum Resources. Some of these refineries produce automated motor oil known as AGO. Some produce domestic kerosene and LPG, while others are gradually adding to their refining capacity both in volume and products. Prominent among them are Walter Smith's Modular Refinery at Egbema in Imo State, Edo Modular Refinery, and Niger Delta Modular Refinery, which the Director and Chief Executive Officer of DPR visited recently. He beckoned on Nigerian investors to take advantage of this opening and invest in modular refinery.
We do believe that the private sector, if they take initiative like what NDPR is doing, the issue of product security will be strengthened and the product scarcity will be history.
What an in-depth explanation on what conventional and modular refineries are all about. Now, the report also says modular refineries are not as expensive as the regular and huge refineries, which is good news. Well, investors, DPR says you can make it. For more explanation on this wonderful technology, I'll now hand you over to Femi Fafiebi for the interview segment. Don't go nowhere.
Thank you very much, Suleiman. And dear viewer, on this particular interview segment, we are going to be talking about something I believe you will find very interesting, and that is modular refineries in Nigeria. And to deal with this particular topic, I have with me Engineer Joseph Musa, who is an Assistant Director for Engineering and Standards, Department of Petroleum Resources. Engineer, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Femi.
It's a pleasure to host you.
Thank you very much.
What a modular refinery is and how it is different from the conventional one.
Thank you very much, Femi. We know generally that refineries come in big size. 100,000, like the one we have in Nigeria, we have 125,000, 60,000. So, but to build a refinery of that size takes a lot of money. So DPR in its wisdom decided that, okay, why not let us come in small sizes? So actually, to define your question of modular refinery, there are refineries that come in small sizes from 1 barrel per day refinery to up to 30,000 per day refinery. So we define them as modular refinery. The difference between the modular refinery and the conventional refinery is that the modular refinery does not produce all the products that we expect from a refinery. So some of them are really built targeting a specific product. Like in Nigeria, most of the modular refineries that we have are targeting at producing diesel, or we say AGO, while the other products are returned back into the system for blending and other uses. So for conventional refineries, there are refineries that are built to produce all the blends of products that we have, PMS, AGO, DPK, ATK, and the rest. So you ask yourself, so what really is the reason that we want to go for the small one rather than the big one? Like I said, to build a refinery that will produce all the blends of products, you need to go much above 10,000 barrels per day to be able to make profit. So, and we know for you to build a refinery of that size, you need big amount of money. Exactly. So in order to encourage small players in the industry, we allow them to go modular, to target a particular product based on the desire of the product they want in a location. So that's actually what a modular refinery is.
What would you say the effect of coming up with the idea of modular refineries has had on the Nigerian petroleum industry?
Yes, there are so many positive side of it that we have with the modular refinery. We discovered that now a refinery can target a particular community and the product that they want. For instance, the riverine communities that really much desire diesel. So you find out that most of the modular refineries that had been that have been designed and built are targeting at
to serve,
to serve the community. And also it helps other small players to come up in the industry, thereby allowing wider participation of the players in the exactly. So that's what.
Now, can you put a number to how many of the modular refineries licenses have been issued for so far?
Actually, at the inception of the modular refinery program in Nigeria, 2002 to 2004, that is when we have the program for modular refineries. And then at that time, we started with 18 numbers that were granted approval. Then gradually it grew to 24. So we continue with this 24. But when most of them were not able to make it, because even at that small size that I said, because of the cost, it's actually difficult raising funding for the modular refinery. So we opened up again. And right now that I'm talking to you, we have about 58 licenses that have been issued. Although out of these 58, we have only about 27 that are active. The others have expired without really moving further. But if you ask me, in total, we have close to about 170-something applications that we got for people. So you could see the interest in the modular refinery.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, the challenges you talked about, does it mean you've been able to overcome them for you to have that larger number of...
We are working assiduously, and thank God for the management, the DPR management that we have, and also the Honorable Minister of State, and the support that he's giving even to the industry. But like I said, when I called the number 176 thereabout, is to show you the interest that the people, the country is having towards that modular refinery. But you discovered, like I used to say, the industry requires money for you to be able to execute it. So most of them find it difficult to source the funding. But right now there's a committee that the Honorable Minister of State has set up, where NMPC, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, and the DPR, we are working together to see how we can source this funding. Exactly, to give them. And we are talking with CBN, we are talking with Bank of Industry, and we are also talking with other financiers that are out of the country.
So that hopefully by the time that problem is solved, you can have...
Exactly.
Okay. How serious are most of them, the investors?
Yeah, I would say they are actually really very serious, because right now we have Niger Delta Petroleum Refinery that has moved from 1,000 barrels per day refining to about 11,000 per day refining. And I want to tell you, as we are talking now, they have commissioned their gasoline unit, and now they are producing PMS from a local modular refinery. Another thing that you need to also understand between the modular refinery and the conventional, the modular refinery has the potential to grow up to the conventional. So because you will now be putting the refinery in modules. Yeah, so like the NDPR that I mentioned, started with 1,000 barrels per day. They now grew and added another 5,000 barrels per day, which becomes 6,000. And then now they grew to 11,000. We have so many of them. Like I said, those that their refinery are active. But to tell you how beautiful and how interesting this modular refinery is, already Walter Smith is thinking of increasing this refinery to 30,000 barrels per day. So you can see how profitable, because actually there is market in Nigeria.
So, sir, how do you expect that the feedstock for the other players will be gotten, considering that we have a limited number in terms of the figure you mentioned before?
Thank you very much. Actually, that is a major issue that right now DPR and the industry we are looking at. So I'm sure the government also is also thinking towards that, because there's this OPEC and the domestic. And OPEC is not only when you export, it's the amount you produce. But that notwithstanding, if it gets to the point that we run up to that 1.6 million barrels that I was talking about, if all the refineries will come in, yes, we can make a case to OPEC and see if they can increase our production for domestic utilization, which is an opportunity.
So I want to say a very big thank you to the engineer for giving us your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure speaking with you.
I appreciate it.
I'll hand you over back to Suleiman. Thank you very much for watching. I am Femi Fafiebi here.
We have come to the end of today's program. But before I say my goodbye, Nigerian investors, please listen to me. Hearken to the call of DPR. Think about putting your money in these little wonders. That's what I call them. DPR said Modular Refinery is not too capital intensive. It will reduce unemployment and also will reduce products importation into my country, your country, Nigeria. And DPR says your investment will have wonderful returns. Until I return next week, it's goodbye.